some groups of students, but finally I can assess it like an experiment. And it's really an exciting process. In the evolving landscape of higher education, the integration of research and teaching has become, I can say, an essential strategy for fostering academic excellence and professional development. And this kind of phrase in the title, Two Birds with One Stone, encapsulates the dual benefits of simultaneously engaging students in research while enriching their learning experiments, international collaboration facilitated through blended and hybrid learning methods. And it's present a unique opportunity to merge these two domains, creating a dynamics and interactive education environment. I think it's really a creative way to teaching and engaging way too, as I hope you will see it now. So our research paper tried to explore how international partnership in higher education leverage hybrid and blended methodologies to bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical um, application. By incorporating digital tools, cross-cultural exchanges, and hands-on research activities, students and educators engage in a mutually beneficial process that enhances both academical inquiry and pedagogical effectiveness. The fusion of research-based learning with interactive teaching methods not only deepens students' critical thinking, deepens, I mean, make it more deep, the student critical thinking and problem-solving skills, but also contributes to the advertisements of knowledge and, let's say, on processing global issues such as educational segregation and dropout prevention. This was the main topic what we researched on. Through an analysis of case studies and empirical data, this study highlights the effectiveness of international collaboration in fostering interdisciplinary research, not only interdisciplinary, but let's say multidisciplinary research, while simultaneously equipping students with essential skills for the really modern academic and professional landscape. Our discussion emphasized the role of hybrid and blended learning in overcoming geographical barriers. We will see. I will show you how is it, and we try to promote inclusivity and enhancing student engagement in global research initiative. Ultimately, sorry, this approach demonstrated how research and teaching can be seamlessly integrated, ensuring that both educators and students benefit for a holistic research-informed learning experience. Um, we have some exciting questions. Here are these three main questions. If knowledge is power, then why do we so often limit students to consuming it rather than producing it? The second question, what happens when education is not just about absorbing knowledge, but about creating and sharing this knowledge. And the third question in focus, that can we teach students to fly, not just in knowledge, but in confidence, collaboration, and creativity. So, what here you can see the main concept and the conceptual map, or let's say flowchart, that illustrated key elements contributed to an effective learning on working environment. The structure suggests interconnection between various principles that support engagement, collaboration, and also very meaningful interactions. There are 7 key components of this figure, as you can see. The first is the relevancy. The relevancy which can help us ensuring content or tasks are meaningful and applicable. The second is the participatory way, encouraging active involvement for the students. The third is collaborative way, fostering teamwork and shared efforts. The fourth, a friendly climate, creating a supportive and welcoming atmosphere in the classroom, and not only in the classroom, but as a project work in the whole time of our working. Uh, and the next, the fifth point can be the specific feedback, providing clear and constructive input for improvement. The sixth one is our challenging way, how we encouraging growth through intellectual or skill-based challenging. And last but not least, I have to mention the connections. Connections which are, let's say, building relationships between the students, and also creating a high and wide network. The diagram suggests that relevant participation and collaboration contribute to an environment where specific feedback, challenges, and a friendly climate foster connections. And this model could be applicable in education, not only in educational, but also in workplace or leadership settings. So it's a kind of multifunctional flow chart. How to apply our research method. Let's say we had qualitative and also quantitative research. The qualitative component, students conduct semi-structured interviews with educators, policymakers, and stakeholders involved in education reform. These interviews provide the insight into the challenges and opportunities associated with the dropouts. Let's see this applied research. And also in quantitative components, we surveyed and analyzed data. Uh, uh, I don't want to go very deeply inside this analysis because it was 1 year and a very exciting work. Uh, with statistical methodologies ensuring they could interpret real-world educational data effectively. And we also did action research approach. Students were encouraged to reflect on their findings and propose actionable solutions that could be implemented educational setting. And also publication and dissemination was very important point. A key outcome of the research initiative was the contribution to the collaborative study fights against dropout and segregation in 17 countries, demonstrating the effectiveness of integrating teaching and research. If we going back to the first page just for 1 minute, Here you can see the cover page of the book, what we have done finally, and also the list of the researchers. Uh, and these researchers mainly were students, only 5 or 6 teachers as mentors participated in it. Um, okay, here we can see the innovative pedagogical approaches in research-based learning, and this diagram clearly represents a cycle how the learning model works. Just a short explanation of the process. There is interactive lectures and workshops, also fieldworks and data collection, cross-cultural exchange, final research project, and also exciting takeaways. What kind of takeaways? The model, as you can see, emphasize the experimental learning, the cross-cultural exchange is a central component of enhancing comparative insight, and also the cycle structure ensure that learning is iterative, reinforcing and expanding students' comprehension at each stage. The framework could be particularly effective in academic settings, focusing on education policy, sociology, and also comparative education studies. What was the key finding? Here you can see some important points: increased students' engagement, enhanced research skills. Okay, you can see the details, description, and implications here, but I also just showing you because it was really complex and exciting. Uh, we had we have now global academic networks and it's working further. So we have got now 2 new exciting researches, global researches. Uh, Maybe in the future I can show that's researches too, and the result, practical contribution to educational policy, and scalability and adaptabilities are also exciting implications. Okay, they had some challenges which can be mentioned now. For example, the technological barriers, and in the future, I hope we can work on it and make it easier. There had some problem with access to stable internet for some students. Of course, it can be in some countries a problematic situation. You can imagine the time zones, as now it's a problem for me because it's very late here, and the scheduling conflicts, coordinating international research activities. It can be also some kind of synchronized participation, but it can solve also as an option. And faculty workload can be a problem, like instructors and other helpers had to invest significant time in mentoring students and managing the collaborative process progresses. Okay, here is a kind of summary of the and not only summary but comparing table about traditional research learning and hybrid blended research learning. And we can see sometimes it's very useful to use traditional methodology, but in another time, for example, in the time of COVID and after, the combination of online and in-person learning can be very advantageous in learning format. The collaboration also easier, for example, on higher level, for example, global collaboration with researchers and students worldwide. Also, the flexibility, I think it's more flexible, the hybrid and blended research learning. The technology use is advanced on digital platform and for research and for collecting data. Of course, traditional way is very good because we can go to library and use other resources as basic tools. Uh, what about data collection? Of course, we can use all the two types, the traditional research learning, because local fieldwork and in-person interviews are very useful, but also we can use other way like remote data collection, digital service, and also AI tools, etc. So it's exciting to make this kind of comparison, uh, mainly about student autonomy, I have to mention, because, okay, it can be instructor-led and structured approach, but also it can be led by the student themselves with guidance or any peer feedback, because it's very useful and effective learning. Okay, and here is our roadmap for implementing our methodology. As you can see, this is a kind of timeline, not only a simple roadmap, but a timeline outlining how universities can adopt and implement this kind of hybrid blended research learning model, progressing from initial planning to students engagement and final research dissemination. This roadmap for implementing this, you can see the phases which are very clearly shows that planning after planning you can go to the course design and integration, and after that the student recruitment and engagement and research implementation. I'm really glad if you are curious about it, and I can show you a little bit more detailed S phase as you asked. So it's I think all I really enjoyed all phases, and there was a lot of opportunity to learn, not only for students, but we learned a lot as teachers and mentors, let's say, or tutors. Uh, the phase 5 was, I think, the most exciting, the research dissemination and impact, where the final project presented and publication and knowledge sharing worldwide, because it was really a big kind of celebration of finished the research project. So uh, here is the three types of aspects, and I started with the title uh, two birds with one stone, but you can see it can be three birds in one stone, like teaching and learning, researching and cooperating, and writing a book. So this is really a three birds. So uh, you can see here a table about participants, tools, what we used, methodologies, goals, results, and success. So I think it's really a good example and a good case. Let's say a kind of inspiring something to use in the future, this methodology in the universities. And here is the acknowledgement, because there are many people who have this work. Thank you for your attention.